That's a short lesson in please don't invest your money on platforms that are not regulated. Simple.
Yeah.
Don't even, you want to put it like $50 or something? Okay, fine. Don't, no, above that, because, you want to experiment and see. Some people do that to see even if it has the potential to be regulated, but beyond that, don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Yeah.
I realize that cryptocurrency is a cult of I think I'm in a cult, and there are people who get quite testy if their cult is brought into question. But things like these NFTs and cryptocurrency stuff, I think, are typically a scum of the earth. It is one of the ways that, for example, species are going extinct because people are resorting to cryptocurrency to promote species, selling on species extinction.
Oh yeah.
It is. So I would, and I'm sorry if you're a cryptocurrency, but I would favor countries banning the ability to trade real currency for this pseudo cryptocurrency.
Digital
I would essentially
currency, yeah.
I think
I'm talking about cryptocurrency stuff, right?
So
I don't know that you could enforce a ban on trading cryptocurrency for various kinds of state issued currency. I don't know how you would possibly enforce it, since the people who are most into cryptocurrency are also into doing dark web stuff. And I mean, to be fair, a lot of what cryptocurrency is used for is already illegal anyway. So how effective would it be to just I don't know.
But it makes trading with
it would take it away from being it would make it difficult to go switch between the two, more difficult at least, and it would mean that normal, your average store, it wouldn't be considered legal tenure, so you wouldn't be able to take it anywhere. And I do know that there are some sites that did start trying to bring it into their
but in large part cryptocurrency is a scam, a fraud. And if you invest in that sort of thing, you deserve what you get.
I would not go quite so far as to say it is in itself a scam. I think it's just that it's such an easy target for scammers that you're very likely to be scammed. But I mean, I do think that there are good faith cryptocurrency projects. I just think that they're all a bad idea, and that you're still very susceptible to being scammed.
Yeah,
and I don't think much of the cryptography behind cryptocurrency either, and it's not scalable.
Maanyaa, go ahead.
Sorry.
I'm like, can I?
There's a delay.
No,
there's a delay. Sorry.
Sorry, we couldn't hear you. You were too far away booping that neutron star.
Trademark Canada.
Okay. So I think so. The concept of cryptocurrency was in the beginning it was like it's going to be a digital currency that is at the same value across the globe. So you don't have to worry about exchange rates and stuff, right? That happens between your regular currency. But now it has turned into a more, because it's not regulated, of course, it now has, like Dapper said, it is a very good opportunity for scammers to exploit it. And I personally think the longer the international organizations who regulate finance and money, and also US, the longer the delay in prosecuting these people, more. With FTX, it's already $8 billion down the drain.
Yeah. What do you need? What exactly happened with FTX specifically?
I'll tell you. I know. I'll tell you. So there are two cryptocurrency platforms. One is Binance and one is FTX. And Binance's CEO is Changpeng Zhao, and FTX CEO is Sam Bankman-Fried. And so they're called as SBF and CZ. Rivals. They just they don't like each other. And so Binance tried to approach the regulators and say, we would like you to help us regulate this platform. And SBF, being the shitmonger, he decided to tweet about it and said, CZ, are you allowed to go to the DC? And I think so. What happened was the regulators were like, oh, okay, what's going on with you? So we
used Twitter to tattletale on their rival.
Yeah, wow. and the regulators were like, okay, so there's a institute called Coindex, and they somehow got hold of the balance sheet of FTX, and they released it. They were like, here, take it. And what it showed was that FTX's almost all the FTX's money was locked away in other projects. So it kind of looked like they had assets because it's locked in other projects. So those projects might be assets, but those assets are further like token projects. So they are not liquidable. You can't liquidate them. So it's like, and it also came out that FTX has or still has $8 billion liability, out of which $7.4 billion were in loans.
Okay. Yikes!
And that's a lot.
And then
that's like Elon Musk levels.
Yeah, I think that's 4 times Elon Musk. I don't know. Yeah, 1/5 of Elon Musk levels, because 40 billion, 8 billion. Yeah.
But still, I highly recommend you not go anywhere near cryptocurrency.
Until it's regulated.
It's not scalable. The crypto was ill-conceived, and that it's not a, and if you get into it, you're going to basically deserve what you get.
Here, I have something. I have something to share for you guys.
Is it who I think this is?
This is Brennan. Oh, this is Brennan Lee Mulligan. Yes.
Master storyteller. He's a D&D. What do you say? And
DM.
Master DM. Yep. Master storyteller. He captivates his audiences. You should go and watch him. The one he did with the Critical Role one. Thanks to Chesh, I'm addicted to that also now. League
called
of Legends,
Calamity.
Anime. Yeah, Calamity. And so yeah, this guy did a session with those guys. It was beautiful. Like, this guy creates visuals like with his words. It's like,
all right, here we go.
All right, let's
part of my brain in a Wolverine attack. But I know one thing, and one thing for sure, and that is the blockchain is the future of currency. You think fiat currency, you want state-backed dollars. What could be better than a completely unaccountable system of absolute strangers and con artists assembled together in a bizarre crypto-fascist commune? We already know that these currencies are being used to fund neo-Nazi and far-right organizations. If you're legitimately considering using these things, there's something fucking wrong with you.
I'm gonna cut you off before
there's something fucking
this is gonna become. Where's the
whoa.
If we were on my channel, we'd have already used up our one F-bomb.
Yeah, that's okay. We're on my channel.
Uh-oh.
It's allowed.
But anyway, so again, I'm sorry if cryptocurrency is part of your financial cult, but still,
sorry if you're your cult. Sorry about your cult, bro.
But I had the Jehovah's Witnesses come to my door today. I spent a half hour with them speaking of cults.
And the person that conceived it didn't understand economics, didn't understand scalability, and chose poor crypto stuff. We have wasted a lot of energy and put in a lot of carbon in the atmosphere chasing this stupid crypto mining stuff. It's bad for the planet. It's bad for the economy. It's bad for
You're better off making money farming resources in World of Warcraft.
And
yes.
So what happened after?
Are the Chinese gold farms hiring?
Go ahead.
So what happened after this was, I think so, FTX SBF was able to find a buyer who was ready to buy FTX, including all the liabilities. And then this guy, the CEO, had to do shit talking again, and the guy was like, all right, I'm out. SBF decided to talk shit behind this guy's back who was going to save him. Word got to the guy, and he was like, I'm out. So panic spread, people started withdrawing money, and then Binance, on the other hand, started liquidating its assets, and everybody was like, what the fuck is going on? Are you trying to show FTX how it's done or something like that? And Binance was like, nah, it's we are just doing our own thing here. So panic spread, people started withdrawing money, and the price of that fucking the whole thing just plummeted. And now we know. And then I think so they were lying to their investors till I think so a few hours before they decided to break the news that they were way under. And that they have collapsed. They were still lying to the investors. No, we got it under control.
And digital pox on their digital houses.
So I had a look so Changpeng Zhao, he's a Canadian. And his alma mater is McGill University. And he's a co-founder and CEO of Binance. And Sam Bankman-Fried, I don't know why I call him Fried. Everybody says Freed. He's from California. And Stanford, California, not the Stanford University, guys. And he got education from Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So,
yay, Massachusetts! That's where I'm from, originally.
Hey, yeah. So. And this guy graduated with a degree in physics and a minor in mathematics.
Yeah.
Bankman.
McGill is also as a good university. I know some people who went there. Fine institution.
Yeah, it's one of the more well-known universities in Canada.
Yeah. So, yeah, McGill is in Montreal, right, Quebec, and sorry. I just lost this. Yeah, so Changpeng, he majored in computer science.
Mm-hmm. And this is the guy who tattled, right?
No. It was SPF who was he was taunting Changpeng, who was trying to work with the regulators. So Binance was trying to work with the regulators, and see if they could regulate this shit. And SBF had to be, yo, I'm the big boss. I'm the big guy here. I know what I'm doing. And he's like, oh, are you allowed to go to DC? And he just made that fucking remark. And everybody was like, why would you bring attention to yourself like this? And before you know it, their balance sheet was out in the market. And everybody was like, what the fuck? This is I don't get it. Did everyone forget Elizabeth Holmes? Theranos?
Yeah, well, this speaking of her, but turns out this Stoinking schmuck was also involved with Fusion Systems, which was a high frequency trading system. And high frequency trading, if you don't know, is another distortion of the market that allows for significant market instabilities. And one of the proposals, I think, has been to require markets to settle on a very long period of time, such as, for example, at the top of every minute, all the trades placed are then resolved. So you no longer have these millisecond type systems that people can't have time to evaluate the market and respond. And so I guess he was founded. In fact, he was one of the founders of Fusion Systems.
He has been a co-founder of many small subsidies, and what he's been doing is that he has been lending money to these subsidies. And what he's giving in collateral is his own assets again. It's going around in the circle. It's like, have you learned nothing from the collapse of the banking system that collapsed, the whole housing market that collapsed back then?
Yeah.
Right.
Don't go circle jerking with loans. You don't do that.
So, out of curiosity, do we on the panel think yay or nay to the concept of a different economic system that doesn't rely on state-backed dollars, or are we totally against the concept, or is it just the way that crypto's going about doing things that we're just this is volatile and unstable and too easy to be scammed?
Yeah, volatile, unstable, too easy to be scammed, and already has been infiltrated by the bad actors. It's not just happening. on these platforms, it's also happening in the sphere that we call the influencer sphere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of influencers, what they're doing is they set up this coin and they ask their fans to donate, chip in into this coin, and then they what do they do is they mess with the anti-whaling mechanism. The anti-whaling mechanism is you cannot sell your crypto within 1 minute or 5 hours. It has to be within, I think so, till like minimum is 5 days, if I'm not wrong. 5 days you cannot sell your like crypto stock. But what these guys do, because they have developed this platform for their own cryptocurrency, they ask their programmers to remove that anti-whaling mechanism, reduce the selling time to almost to 1 second, and as soon as they have like covered like twice the cost of whatever they're put in, they start selling their own cryptocurrency, and then before you know it, everybody's money is lost. And a lot of influencers have done it, and I don't know why they haven't been arrested yet. I don't get it.
It's part of the pump and dump type process, Maanyaa.
Yes.
I think there's value in digital currency, but I think cryptocurrency is poorly designed, doesn't scale, has based on a bad crypto concept, and and even for example, this schmuck was even participating in $500 million in the acquisition of Twitter by Elon Musk, another dumpster fire. So
I'm gonna have to replace my "this guy is unbelievable" with Landon saying "this schmuck."
And if you want to say stoink, if you want to add spice to it, you say stoinking schmuck.
There you go.
Beautiful.
So for me, like, look, I think there are some pretty obvious problems with current economic systems, and even with the monetary system, right? Like I'm not sure that the bank owned by all the other banks just deciding how much money should be available is necessarily the greatest idea ever. But I also don't think we currently have an alternative that is practical and definitively better. And certainly crypto has shown it that it's not the thing, right? Like if you had said, 15 years ago when crypto was still pretty young, like, hey, maybe this will be the thing. I'd have said, well, I don't know about that, but like, maybe we'll see what happens.
We can brainstorm this.
Now, since then, it's become pretty clear this is not going to be the thing.
Yeah, given the fact that they polluted the word crypto, because it used to be that crypto was referring to cryptography or cryptology, our real science there. But as you say, I guess you're supposed to say it like this: this stoinking schmuck is unbelievable.
Hey, we have to take that.
God damn it! Does Christopher Walken do Cameo? Because
I will check right now.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, I think that
most of the Star Trek actors have do Cameo, not because I price checked all of them.
Oh wow, who'd have thought? I'm pretty sure. Okay, so since Dapper's like the most business-minded of all of us, do you have anything that you could maybe pitch to Landon to see if Landon's going to shoot it down for like what you would put in place?
And by the way, I'm not opposed to digital currency, right?
Okay. I want to say Christopher Walken is not on Cameo, but Christopher Lloyd is.
Ooh.
So, also, Christopher Lloyd, fun thing, is the first person to actually speak Klingon on screen that wasn't just gibberish, because Mark Leonard is technically the first person to speak Klingon on screen, but he was just saying nonsense lines made up by Jimmy Doohan.
I just love that Christopher Lloyd's @ on Twitter is @Doc Brown.
Right.
Amazing. Digital Demogorgon for 5 said, because they couldn't regulate crypto, all the snake oil salesmen crawled out of the woodwork. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
It's just too easy.
The problem is that there are good reasons to not want basically financial professionals to just have a monopoly on how it is that you get the most fungible asset in the economy, right? Because obviously it's going to end up being stacked in their favor because they're literally the ones who create the stuff.
Right.
Sure.
But I don't have a great way to both keep it so that it's well controlled enough to be a safe thing to keep to store your wealth in, but also have it be sufficiently out of that group's control. So ultimately, I don't know that I have a great way to set that up, short of like just a huge rework of the basics of how we're running an economy. So yeah, I don't have a specific pitch, right? I can identify problems with the current system and with crypto and say, hey, these are problems, but I don't currently have a solution. So it's sort of like I'm in the plane and I feel like it's crashing, and I'm like, hey, we shouldn't crash. That's a bad idea. And then the pilot comes on and is like, well, then you fly the plane. I'm like, the fact that I can't fly the plane doesn't mean that I'm wrong that we're crashing and that we shouldn't.
Yeah, you claim to be the expert, and your expertise is failing. What the fuck? It's like, and I think so. It will just. I think so. It will just become another form of currency, because, or all the countries like what some countries do is they come together and they have these like anti-laundering, money laundering like pacts that they make with each other. So I think so that's what will need to happen on an international level, because the concept of the cryptocurrency is that the price remains the same wherever you go. So like if I use it in England where pound is prevalent, it should be the same price. If I go to India, it should be the same price, or else it's just another currency. So yeah.
I mean, maybe there could be some kind of international monetary standard that isn't directly owned by bankers, and that has some kind of objective rules about things like setting interest rates or money growth or things like that, right? So that it's not people who are already financially well connected can't simply manipulate it for their advantage, but also it's sufficiently centralized that it can be controlled to protect people from the most blatant of scams. Because I mean, let's face it, some of these crypto scams have been like, come on, man, you fell for that? Like that's the thing you fell for? Like, so maybe something like that, where there's objective rules, which to be fair is part of the good idea of crypto was like, hey, we're going to have objective rules that can't just be manipulated on a whim by individual users or even small groups of them. So like some kind of like, okay, here's what because like in the United States, the Federal Reserve mostly controls the money supply by determining the interest rates that banks can interact with it on, right? So if it lowers its interest rate, that means that if banks keep their interest rates too high, they can actually just arbitrage that with loans to the Fed instead. So that's how it kind of controls interest rates, which then goes into like loaning, which goes into like the M2 money supply, all that stuff. But if you had like a rule like, hey, this is the interest rate that this central bank just uses, and then it grows the money supply, like the M1 money supply, at a certain rate, and then it can change this on the basis of these economic indices that we're going to keep track of. But like these are things that are that's just the mechanical rule. In order to change it, we have to have some big like vote by a whole bunch of people, not just a bunch of bankers. And maybe something like that could work. But I don't know that there's enough international political will to even try something like that. Because for one thing, countries like having their own currencies, because then they can use basically, well, for one thing, they can inflate away debt. That's always something that's handy for them. It's less handy for the people in the country, but it's handy for the governments. They can also, do things like use trade imbalances to get arbitrage opportunities for both goods and for money. So, like, I don't know that there's enough political willpower to make something like that, because I do think that the objective rules that are hard to change is a good aspect of crypto. Because, like, if you set up a good set of rules in the first place, then it's harder for, financially connected people to twist those rules to their benefit.
Defango also makes a really good point in the chat and saying nothing stops the banks from reusing the Bitcoin code to do their own thing. So there's definitely like options for it to kind of not exist the way it is, but potentially exist in a more in a less volatile way in the future.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are good ideas in crypto, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not literally bad ideas from start to bottom. Mm-hmm. It's just that currently there are no great use cases, and it's so open to scammers that I tell anyone who's interested in getting into crypto, if you have money that you can't lose, don't put it into crypto. if you want to put $50 into crypto, you should be equally okay with just tossing it in a bonfire, because that's what you might be doing. And if you're okay with doing that, then sure, go ahead, put it into some Bitcoin, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, less so now that the environmental cost has come out, but
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, is that about all we have
for the FTX?
Yeah. Landon's like, get me out.
There's one more thing I want to say, which is the Super Bowl ads for the FTX, because that was all over the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
here in the United States.
They spent a lot
of money. It was hilarious. It's kind of hilarious that the stick in the mud, I don't like any change guy from the one of the longer ones about FTX turns out to have been right, because they're doing all these things where like, they're showing like, oh look, we've invented the wheel, and he's like, the wheel, what is that? I don't forget. No, it's unimportant. They show him like indoor plumbing. He's like, you want us to use the bathroom inside like an animal? No. But it turns out that when it comes to cryptocurrency, at the very end of the commercial, he was right when he was like, nah, it's not for me. I just love that.
It's also like, I think so. There's this misconception that has been successfully promoted by scammers and conmen out there that crypto is easy money, and you don't have to do a lot of research into it as you do with your other investment options.
Right.
And you don't have to hire when you go for higher what do you say, costing investment options, you go to the experts, right, who are qualified, certified to do the thing for you, right? And they charge a fee for it. They're like, okay, I'm going to handle your money. I'm going to charge this much this month. Are you okay? And then they let you know in advance if your money is going to shit. They're like, this is what's happening. This is the plan, contingency plan in future. So I think what a lot of people think about crypto is it's just easy money and there's no liability or risk in it, which is false. Very false. Yeah, that's the misinformation that's being spread out, and this can only be handled by educating people about this platform and how this currency works and what are the liabilities associated with it, and how to recognize the red flags with a company. If it's growing too fast, if it's not giving, as an investor, you have every right to look at the balance sheets. You have every right to have a look at those. So if they're not, you can't see them, then there's something going on. So all these red flags. So I think so. There are a lot of channels out there who do that. For example, some Digital Demonic said, Cold Fusion did a good breakdown. Upper Echelon did, and also CoffeeZilla. That's a channel. If you want to go, they have done 3 videos on this, and they actually called it out in advance before it even happened. They were like, "This company is going down. this platform is going down." So yeah, very interesting. Yeah. Okay. All
right. We're done with FTX. If you want more or have any comments, please feel free to add them down below. We're more than happy to touch on them again later on. Landon, do you want to pick the next topic?
This stinking schmuck is unbelievable.